The best way to start a side hustle or a full-fledged business is to start small. And there's no better way to start small than on Facebook Marketplace. Now, before you click away, realize that I'm talking about Facebook Marketplace in a couple different ways. Number one is to buy and sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, or to buy stuff elsewhere and sell it on Facebook Marketplace, or vice versa. And number two is to offer Facebook Marketplace scraping, either as a service or as a piece of software that anyone with no coding knowledge or experience can build with a couple simple tools. But you can't do either of these things until you know how to scrape Facebook Marketplace. You don't know how to code, I don't know how to code, but that doesn't matter, because today I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. How to get the edge over the other billion people on Facebook Marketplace who don't know how to scrape, who don't even think to scrape. So in this video today, I'm going to give you a ton of ideas of how to make money on Facebook Marketplace, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to scrape Facebook Marketplace listings in ways that you probably hadn't even thought of. Because at the end of the day, it's just too tedious and time consuming to always click refresh or always check in or be stuck to our phones all day, looking, refreshing, searching. We want to automate all that stuff, and we will save time and make more money as we do so. So first, let's talk about all the different kind of random ways you can make money on Facebook Marketplace. What search terms to look for, how often you should scrape, what types of items, on and on. Let's start by talking about a local Facebook Marketplace arbitrage sniper. A lot of words going on there. What I mean is finding items that are incorrectly priced, underpriced, and finding them as soon as they hit the market. You can do this by searching terms like must go, free stuff, cheap, damaged. You can scrape all the results from these listings every 1 minute, 60 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want. This will ensure you are the first buyer for underpriced stuff. And please, please, please don't just click the button and say, is this still available? Because that's what they're getting from everyone. You need to stand out and you need to say, hey, I'm 5 minutes from you. I can come get this right now. What's your address? Because if something truly is underpriced, they're going to be hit up by so many people in your area. So you need to stand out. And it's actually quite easy to do so. Every single day in any given market, people are giving away stuff for free worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. And oftentimes you can have that stuff sold before you even go pick it up. All right, another way you could make money with Facebook Marketplace scraping is setting up what I call a deal feed for local flippers or local resellers. There are millions of Americans that resell on a daily or weekly basis. Some of them do this full time. Some of them do it just for some side income. You can offer this as a service to them without knowing how to code. You could do it in an automated way by turning this into software with some AI tools, or you could do this in more of a manual way where you just send them a spreadsheet every week with a scrape, or every day. Believe it or not, a lot of people prefer working with data in a Google Sheet or a spreadsheet, and they'd rather just be in their inbox and see that come every morning than have to log into yet another tool or app. Well, how do you find these customers? Facebook freaking Marketplace. They're right there. In fact, I'll share my screen and show you how to find them. All right, you can see here, I'm searching within 80 miles of Dallas, Texas. That gets the whole Metroplex. There's about 8 million people here. That's where I live. And I'm searching must go, free, cheap. This is the best way to search for multiple terms in the same search, commas. And look, you can see right here, this one says free, this one says must go, and these ones say cheap, so it's working. Now, how can we sort the individuals that just sell once a year from the people that are selling full-time or part-time or as a business or side hustle? Well, the only way to do it is just start pulling up random listings in new tabs. So on my MacBook here, I'm just holding Command and then click. This seems tedious, but I promise you it's worth it. Once we go into the items, we're just going to click on the seller information. Look, there's his listings. So JB Bueno, he's just selling 2 different things. James, look at this. James has 4 different things. Oftentimes you can tell before even clicking into their name if they're sophisticated or a high volume seller or not. If it looks like they used AI to generate the listing, then they probably sell a lot of stuff. Bingo, jackpot. All right, this is very interesting. Also, side note, I love using Facebook Marketplace just to learn, just to kind of put my feelers out there and see what kind of schemes people are coming up with on a daily basis. This guy, Solomon Garcia, he's got dozens, if not hundreds of solar listings, free solar panels. And this tells me that this is probably a business owner with a fake Facebook account that's installing solar. There's something to learn from that. Once you find these sellers in whatever niche you're in, maybe it's appliances, couches, furniture, whatever, just start saving the URLs in a Google Sheet so you can keep track of them. And if you're willing to put in a little manual work of finding these high volume sellers, spend time finding those sellers in niches that have higher ticket items. multiple hundreds or thousands of dollars, not t-shirts and stuff. Because if you sell a couple t-shirts a week as a side hustle, you might be making $30 a week and you're not willing to pay $30 a month for software because that eats into your profit margins too much. But if you find a guy selling $300 treadmills, multiple a week, making thousands of dollars a month, or couches or appliances or whatever, he'll probably pay $30 to $150 a month for a little tool that helps him find more deals or better deals. Also, there are Facebook groups in every market of flippers, of resellers, of liquidation guys or gals. Go in there and just start talking about what you've built for yourself. Hey guys, this is super cool. I just vibe coded this tool that helps me find underpriced listings on Facebook Marketplace. Here's how it works. What would you change about it? If this was yours, what features would you add or remove? So you're just talking about what you're building, but what you're really doing is selling, because people are seeing that and they're thinking, ooh, I want that. How can I use that? I guarantee you the vast majority of comments on your post are going to be people asking you how they can use it. And that is a layup of a sale when people are coming to you saying, what is this? How can I pay you? Take my money. But if you go at it directly through the front door and say, I just built this tool. It is so good. It's only $29.99 per month. Here's what it does. People are like, yawn, block, mute. So sell your story as opposed to selling your product directly. And what more relevant of an audience than a local Facebook group of resellers? It's all there. You check every box. And guess what? If you live in Dallas, you can join a local resellers group in Buffalo, New York. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be local. But if you are, it makes it a little easier to close this deal because they feel like you're one of them. All right, now what about local business owners, hot tub dealers, appliance shops, furniture stores, vintage stores? These guys are buying and selling on Facebook Marketplace as well. You don't think of them. We think of just individuals doing this from home. But there's a lot of actual local retail businesses using Facebook Marketplace. Even service businesses. Our tree trimming business relies on Facebook Marketplace. So go to them. Use OxyLabs to scrape all those businesses and then start doing cold outreach. I'm going to give you a full OxyLabs tutorial here in a minute, by the way, in this video, so stick around. You can also build alert software. Now, yes, Facebook will alert you when certain things are listed, but they're not very granular or specific. But I'll show you how to build a tool that will do this. I mean, look at this. This is the notify me settings on Facebook. There's nothing here. Location, price, search term. That's it. What if I want to be notified every time one of these high volume sellers lists something? What if I don't want to be notified every time something that matches my search terms are listed, but I want to automatically reach out to them and send them a custom message as soon as it's listed? We can do that. Facebook won't do it for us. What about this? What if you're a local business? You have a tree trimming company. You want to see every time people post to Facebook Marketplace, wanted tree removal, need tree removal. Does this happen that often? No, but it does happen. What's the harm for setting up an automation to when anytime something like that happens, maybe it's only once a week, maybe once a day, once a month, doesn't matter. It's automated and it's free, basically. You get an email or a text that says, hey, Mary just posted to Facebook Marketplace, wanted tree removal. Call her at this number. If you're a business owner, you could set this up for yourself, or if you want to offer this as a service, you could set it up for any local business. This could be a piece of software that you sell to the business owner so they can receive the leads or the alerts, or you can just receive the leads yourself and sell those leads to the business owners. Did you know you can build a six-figure business with only a 10,000 person email list? I just talked to the founder of Beehive, and he told me that there are people with 10 to 15,000 subscribers making more than newsletters that are 10 times that size. Here's how. Well, this one design newsletter with around 15,000 subs doesn't just sell ads. They run 2-week online cohorts 4 times a year that generate 6 figures. And on top of that, they're charging companies $20,000 to $30,000 to get in front of their audience. And that's on one small focus list. This is not about going viral anymore. It's about owning a niche and monetizing it correctly. And Beehive gives you exactly the tools to do just that, like surveys to understand exactly who your readers are, or a built-in recommendation network to grow automatically, paid subscriptions, digital products, sponsorship tools, and you keep 100% of the revenue. You don't need a massive audience to run a successful business. You need the right system. So move your email list over today and try out Beehive with 30% off for 30 days with code CHRIS30, because this might be the simplest, highest leverage business that you can build right now. Just go to beehive.com/Chris to learn more. That's BEEHIV.com/Chris. And we haven't even talked about real estate yet. You think a real estate flipper wouldn't want to know when a house is listed on Facebook Marketplace that's underpriced? Do you think Facebook's native alert system will account for only 3-bedroom homes or only homes listed beneath $120,000 in a certain zip code? No. but your scraper can do that. And those are very, very high value leads. It's the same amount of work for you, but you can sell these leads for significantly more than, say, a tree trimming lead. Have you ever seen this social media account called Zillow Gone Wild? They have tens of millions of followers across platforms combined, a website, a blog. It's a whole media company. And all they do is post crazy Zillow listings. How do they find them? They have scrapers. That's it. What if you did the same thing? You started a media company, but Facebook Marketplace gone wild. There are so many wild things on Facebook Marketplace. A pink party bus covered in carpet. But there's not really a centralized way to find them unless you scrape them yourself. What about a niche software tool with the word radar in the name? Think of a domain name, and you've got thousands of entrepreneurs out there that flip appliances. ApplianceRadar.com, washers radar, refrigerators radar. And it's just like a $5 a month tool that just pings people anytime something is listed in their market that fits a certain search term, a certain price, whatever you want to do. Once you build that, you copy and paste the website into every niche. Exercise equipment radar.com, furniture radar, couch radar, on and on and on. Before you know it, you've got a dozen tools, each paying you hundreds to thousands of dollars a month. That's pretty dang passive. But remember, none of this happens until you scrape. Also, quick note, this is not a sponsored video from OxyLabs. You'll need to check if all this scraping is acceptable by Facebook's terms of service. And I will say you should probably scrape this stuff without logging in first. So this should all be publicly available data. Okay, let's get into the scraping. We're going to start by going to aistudio.oxylabs.io. That's oxylabs.io. I've used other scraping tools in the past, but they're just not comprehensive enough. They don't do enough. They're not AI enabled, and almost none of them work with Facebook Marketplace, but OxyLabs does. Now remember, I'm not a coder, I'm not technical, but I know how to chat to AI. I can do that. I can type on a keyboard. So I'm here at aistudio.oxylabs.io. I signed up for an account. I'm going to go to apps, AI scraper. Now, if you are technical, you might want to do this more manually, but even if you are, I just don't see a need to because the AI scraper makes it so much easier. Now, when you really start digging deep into scraping, you often have to incorporate what's called proxies, which is basically a tool that tells these websites you're scraping from that you're not just doing it from the same IP address the whole time. It spreads out your location to distribute your visibility and your risk. OxyLabs has all this in-house, so you don't have to use a third party for it. I think they have like almost 200 million residential IP addresses that you can use. With OxyLabs, you don't need to worry about learning out how to write scripts or HTML structures, whatever that is. You can just focus on building your thing. And their AI Studio has 5 different tools. They've got their AI Scraper, which enables you to scrape basically anything you need from almost any website. You just describe your needs in plain English, and then it will scrape the data for you. Then they have a browser agent that will control your browser and mimic human interactions. Then they have an AI crawler, which will go to a URL. It will crawl all their pages and extract all the data that you may need. They also have an AI search tool. You just describe what you want to search and it will go search the web and find stuff for you. And then they have an AI map where it will go and explore domains intelligently to find the right URLs for whatever your use case is. Okay, now I am on the AI scraper page inside the AI Studio, and I need a URL to start with. So I have a friend in North Carolina that makes, I'm not exaggerating, $600,000 a year net profit flipping sheds, backyard tool sheds, mostly used. Here's what he does. He goes on Facebook Marketplace. He finds people that are moving in or moving out of a house. The house has a shed. They don't want it. They don't need it. Maybe it's not part of the contract. Maybe as part of the contract, it has to be removed before the new owners move in. So people will list them very cheaply or for free on Facebook Marketplace because it's heavy. It's thousands of pounds. They don't know what to do with it. So my friend will go and message all these people with sheds and he'll say, hey, let's say it's listed for $500. I can't pay you $500 because it's a lot of money to get my truck over there and it's a lot of work. But what I will do is come take it for free. And if he messages that like the first day they're listed or the first week, they'll probably say, go pound sand. I'm selling this for $500. But they're very quickly going to learn that the vast majority of humans, believe it or not, don't have a flatbed truck to move a fully assembled shed from point A to point B. So then he comes back inevitably weeks later and says, hey, you still have that shed? My offer still stands. I'll come get it for free. Because the thing is, if they don't get rid of it for free, they're going to have to pay money to a junk removal company to come break it apart and take it away, or they're going to have to rent a roll-off trailer for $500 and they're going to come out of pocket. So free is a lot better than paid, obviously. And then if people have a shed that's listed for free, he'll get them on the first day and say, hey, I'll be right there with my flatbed truck. He has a flatbed truck now with this little kind of like a mini forklift. I don't know what they're called. But for his first year or two, he just rented them. He would set up all of the pickups on the same day. He would go rent a truck so he could do this business more affordably. And he would just have a little route and he'd go pick up all the sheds, drop them off at his lot. Or better yet, what he learned over time is he would go pick up the sheds and then he would already have them sold on the same day that he would pick them up. Because the difference between a Facebook listing that says, hey, $500 shed, come get it, versus a Facebook listing that says, hey, here's that same shed for $2,000, but I'll deliver it to you for free. You don't have to pick it up. You don't have to drop it off. You don't have to set it up. It's 4 times as much, but you're not going to have to do a thing. And of course people want that because they have no way of getting the shed themselves. So with that said, I'm going to use this very real example of my friend that does this as a business that I think other people should do this too. And we're going to scrape sheds in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay. So my search term, shed, that's it. Within 80 miles of Dallas, Texas, which you could see, that is the entire Metroplex. Now I'm going to get the URL up here and I'm going to copy it and I'm going to come back to my scraper and I'm going to paste the URL. Okay. Geolocation optional. We're not doing really heavy scraping here. Doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to choose United States. You don't have to choose anything, but it works for me. Now, render JavaScript. I don't know what that means, but I do know that you want to click always because that's what ChatGPT told me to do. I'm just being real, guys. Output format. For now, we're going to do JSON. Okay. And then I'm going to click provide your own schema. Okay. Now I have to fill this out right here. I'm just going to paste something there. And don't worry, if you look in the description below this episode, I have this linked. So you'll just go in here, copy it, go back here, click edit, delete the old stuff, paste the new stuff. All right. We're going to click visual editor, add field. First field will be listings and the category will be array. Now we see this array items. We're going to change that to object. Then we're going to click add property to object items. Then we're going to do title, leave it as string, price, leave it as string, location. And if you can't tell, these are the things that we're asking the scraper to scrape for us. The title of the listing, the price of the listing, the location, and then the URL, leave that as string, and then image, because we might as well scrape the image URL as well. Click apply changes. Cool. Looks good to me. Then we're going to click scrape and parse. And wait. All right, beautiful. That took about 7 seconds, give or take. And each kind of cluster of data right here is a scrape, is a listing. So you can see new 16 by 12 shed, $6,300, Dallas, Texas. There's the URL. There's the image. So it looks like it scraped a bunch. But what do I do with this data? I don't know anything about JSON. So I just want CSV. I want a spreadsheet, right? So I'm going to click CSV and I'm just going to scrape the same stuff again, but it will give me a better output. Boom, there we go. We're going to click download CSV, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it into a Google Sheet. That way I can share my screen a little more easily. There it is. And I paste this from the Google Sheet. There we go. So it looks like it scraped 24 listings for me. It's formatted perfectly. I've got the image URL, the city, the price, the title, and if I want to click directly into the listing, there it is. Beautiful. Now we can see just in one place what's cheap, where everything's listed. And if we want to go a step further and find out when they listed it, Facebook Marketplace makes this a little tricky, but it's totally possible. If you go back here, you're going to paste the URL of the exact listing, not the search results of a term, but the specific listing. Then you open the visual editor and you're going to add a new property and you're just going to do timestamp. Boom. And then you just run the scrape again. So once you have this data, this is step one. You can go a million steps further, go into Zapier, zapier.com. You'll add schedule by Zapier as a trigger, and you can say, hey, run every hour, every day, every week, whatever. And then you can put in the action to run this scrape or to notify you that this scrape was ran, etc. And if you want to vibe code an app that utilizes this, OxyLabs has a very robust API. You can upload your API key to your app in the vibe coding platform like Replit, Lindy, Lovable, yada, yada, yada. And they'll talk to each other seamlessly. So you can actually build an interface out of this and sell it as a service. But for now, just to get your feet wet, just to get some momentum, build a scrape. Go flip some treadmills. Go sell some software. Go DM some people. And thanks for hanging out on the Kerner Office.